Welcome to Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. My name is Staci Davis, and we're going to learn how to cook vegan Thanksgiving.
Radio personality and vegan chef Staci Davis has dabbled in the culinary arts for almost her entire life. Her catering company, Radical Eats, is widely known in Houston for delicious and wholesome plant-based entrees that include butternut squash lasagna, eggplant rozzolini, and a variety of flavorful tamales. And why the name Radical Eats? Her website explains, "Our goal is to get fresh vegetables inside your body. We know that one day this won't be such a radical idea, and our name will be a nostalgic footnote. But until then, we will make affordable, convenient, and yummy foods without animals, hydrogenated fats, or preservatives." Staci is a member of the Society of Peace, People for the Earth, Animals, Compassion, and Enlightenment, and regularly hosts vegan cooking classes. In honor of a compassionate vegan Thanksgiving this year, Staci will show us how to make a seitan turkey dressed with a fragrant mushroom sage gravy.
I've cut up a lot of vegetables ahead of time, and I've put the ends of my vegetables into a pot of water, and in 45 minutes those vegetable ends are going to make us a nice stock, which is going to go into just different recipes that we're going to prepare today. Now we have to work on our vegetarian turkey. Okay, so I have pre-cut some ginger, and this is our basic seitan recipe. A lot of the seitan recipe will call for onion powder and garlic powder and whatnot, and I like to use fresh when I can. I usually don't like to saute anything in oil. I try to saute in water when I can. So let's just saute these in a little bit of water right here. Just put a little bit of water in the bottom of your pan and go for it. That water's going to start evaporating, and so we won't have to, like, reduce it so much. It's also going to call for a little bit of garlic. I've got myself a little bit of stock going over here, which is where we're going to put our seitan. And to that vegetable stock, I'm going to add some flavor, some Bragg's liquid aminos. This is gluten-free, which is kind of neat. The reason seitan works well as a fake turkey is because of the vital wheat gluten. Gluten is a protein that's found in wheat and other grains, and it's a very stretchy protein, right? And the more you work this protein, the harder it gets. This is vital wheat gluten. Okay, I'm going to try to go for more like maybe 2 cups. Some wheat gluten recipes will use flour, and some of them will not. This one does happen to have a little bit of flour in it. Okay, so I've got my wheat gluten here. I'm going to want to add some salt. Now, I can use coarse salt in this because it'll dissolve. I want to add some thyme. Here, it's kind of okay to shortcut and use dried thyme. I've got some nice fresh sage, because sage is super, super strong. So just a little bit there. So I've got quite a bit of seitan. So this right here would be enough seitan to make for, a family of, 15, let's say. Because it doesn't look like much now, but it's going to expand. And you can see it's like becoming like a big gluten-y kind of a mass here, yeah? And this is where it kind of becomes, it starts becoming seitan, and you're starting to stretch the glutens, right? If you've already got some stock made up ahead of time, it'll make this cooler for you. And if it's cooler, you can get your hands in there and start kneading it with your hands, which is a little bit easier, right? Now, if you want to add some more flavoring in here, now would be the time to do it. Maybe some Bragg's liquid aminos, maybe some ginger. I think we already put some ginger in this mix. Some garlic. Let's say you want to make Cajun seitan or something like that, you could add your Cajun spices in here now. Okay? You want to just do like a regular old, you know, Thanksgiving seitan loaf. You just put it in a ball like that and drop it in your sauce. Now, you got to make sure at that point that you got enough to cover it. Yep. That's why they do it in crock pots, okay? And that's going to totally start expanding. Normally, you would work it more than I worked it. You would get it, you know, let it cool down, work it, get it out there with your hands, put it on the table and just play with it. Let the kids play with it for 30 minutes. And then you put it in your crock pot and leave it overnight. This is nutritional yeast. And it has a cheesy flavor. It has a lot of vitamin B12. And it's super good in making like fake cheese, okay? Because it tastes like, it tastes cheesy. Anyway, so I'm just gonna work this a little bit more. And the reason I'm putting this in here is because what I'm expecting with this seitan is that I'm expecting the size of the pan to contain the seitan. You know, because you don't want a big loosey-goosey seitan loaf. You want it to have some firmness into it. So, like I say, there's a couple different ways. You could put it in a cheesecloth and tie it up, or you could just make it fit the pan, right? And as that expands, it's going to make the seitan more close-knit with itself.
We'll return in just a moment to make a mushroom sage gravy that will perfectly complement the Thanksgiving vegan turkey. You are watching Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living on Supreme Master Television. Craig, one of the cooking class attendees and solo vegan in his family, told us why he decided to learn how to cook.
And if I can make a difference with the mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes and pumpkin pie, my family will be eating that much more healthy. And they'll all be surprised if I'm cooking something.
This time, I'm going to go ahead and use the butter, because after all, it's Thanksgiving. So I'm going to use a little bit of earth balance. So this is our gravy, right? The gravy is a great time to go for those wild exotic mushrooms that you see. Yeah? I mean, this is Thanksgiving. It's time to spend some money on food and get the nice stuff instead of the everyday stuff. So especially porcinis and morels, these two mushrooms are going to give your mushroom sage gravy that star quality, especially morels.
If you're using dried mushrooms, remember to soak them in water. It is best to soak them overnight in the fridge. To start the gravy, take 1 cup of vegetable stock and the onions, mushrooms, garlic, and half of the sage, and sauté them together. Let those cook down over medium heat for about 15 minutes. Add about 2 more cups of stock and simmer.
We were going to do mushroom sage gravy. So now that they're kind of sautéed, the reason I like to hesitate before I put my herbs in, because the fresher you put them in, the flavor won't cook out as much, right? And you'll have a stronger flavor if you put it in fresh, especially with rosemary. So just give those a little chop and make sure that there's no stems in there. Now, thinking about my gravy here, what I want to do is you get a little bit of cold water and a little bit of cornstarch. That's about tablespoon and a half right there. And you dissolve it with your hands and you make a slurry. It's called a slurry. So my slurry's ready. So there's my stock. I'll want to add some salt and pepper. A little salt, not too much. Sage is going to have a lot of flavor. A little pepper. Pepper is really important when you're making fake meat. Black pepper, white pepper. Just gives it that earthy depth. It just gives it depth. My slurry's ready. In goes the slurry. And then you just got to make sure and stir that from time to time. It looks like our seitan is, looks like it's doing pretty good, actually. Let's try some of the seitan, since it's kind of ready. I say it's ready, but it's really going to be better if you really let it cook all night. Okay? If you cook it all night long, it's going to become a lot more condensed and sort of sturdy. Now, if you are serving this to a bunch of people, or like if I'm going to serve this to you guys right now, then it's okay for me to just take it out of the water, cut it up. I don't have any. It's hot. And then it's kind of a nice, light, fluffy seitan. As this sits, I'm just going to use a clean towel. As it sits, it's going to firm up a little bit. So actually, like the last time I did the Vegan Society of Peace dinner, I cooked the seitan overnight, and then I kept it in the broth before I served it. In this case, I don't necessarily have to do that because it's coming to you live right now, right here, right now. So we have a little bit of gravy. If you want to make that gravy thicker, you can add I would add up like ground up onions, ground up potatoes, ground up veggies, but that's your basic recipe there. And that's your basic vegetarian turkey. How's it taste? And as it sits, you can already see it's already starting to get more like a traditional tofurkey looks. It's getting to be more durable.
Yeah, the homemade seitan is much better than the stuff I bought at the store.
Staci's homemade seitan turkey recipe is perfect for the holidays, for vegans and non-vegetarians alike. A cooking class attendee shared with us her plans of cooking for the family.
My favorite dish that we made today was the gravy and the turkey. I'm going to make the vegan turkey for 2 non-vegans this year. So we're really gonna see if all of this food is gonna be exactly the way that they remember it, but without the meat. So.
All right, thank you for watching today. Vegetarianism, the noble way of living. This was our Thanksgiving dinner Houston style, and I hope you enjoyed it. Coming up next is Between Master and Disciple.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/VEG.